Around 3% of Taos residents hear it. A persistent, low-frequency hum driving some to despair. For some, the silence isn't quiet. It's a low, persistent thrum pushing them to the edge. But what if that hum wasn't just in your head? What if it was a signal, a message from beyond calling you home? This is the story of Bo and Peep, two individuals who claim to be extraterrestrial beings, here to guide humanity to the next level. They promise salvation, a journey to a celestial kingdom aboard a UFO. Their journey began in the early 1970s, a decade ripe with spiritual seeking and a fascination with the unknown. Marshall Applewhite, a former music professor, and Bonnie Nettles, a nurse, were about to meet. Applewhite, a man struggling with his identity and inner demons, found in Nettles a kindred spirit. They bonded over shared spiritual experiences and a belief in a higher purpose. They would soon adopt the names Bo and Peep, presenting themselves as the two witnesses from the Book of Revelation, tasked with preparing a select few for an impending cosmic event. Their early teachings were a curious blend of Christian eschatology, New Age spirituality, and science fiction. They preached that Earth was due for a recycling, and only those who shed their human attachments could escape. To join their ranks, followers had to abandon their past lives, families, jobs, possessions. They were to become monks in the truest sense, dedicating themselves entirely to Bo and Peep's teachings. The group, which would eventually be known as Heaven's Gate, traveled across the United States, holding recruitment meetings, often in anonymity, moving from town to town, a nomadic spiritual collective. They believed their bodies were mere vehicles for higher intelligence, and that true ascension meant leaving these vehicles behind. This concept, initially metaphorical, would later take a literal and tragic turn. In 1985, Bonnie Nettles, Peep, passed away from cancer. This was a significant blow to the nascent cult. Bo, now known as Do, had to reconcile this earthly death with their divine narrative. Do reinterpreted Peep's death not as a failure, but as her successful transition to the next level, having shed her earthly vehicle. This solidified his own role as the sole leader and interpreter of their cosmic mission. The group became more isolated, retreating from public view. They adopted a monastic lifestyle, living in rented homes, often under strict rules. No personal relationships, no sex, a gender-neutral appearance. They were obsessed with technology, seeing computers and the internet as tools for their mission. They even ran a web design business, Higher Source, to fund their activities, ironically, for a group trying to escape Earth. The core belief remained: a spaceship would arrive to take them to the next level. This belief intensified with the approach of Comet Hale-Bopp in 1997. A rumor spread that an alien spaceship was trailing behind the comet, hidden from conventional telescopes. For Do and his followers, this was the sign they had been waiting for. The time had come to shed their earthly vehicles. Do announced that the exit was imminent. They prepared for their final journey, meticulously, calmly, chillingly. In March 1997, 39 members of Heaven's Gate, including Marshall Applewhite, committed mass suicide in a rented mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, California. They ingested a lethal cocktail of phenobarbital mixed with applesauce, washed down with vodka. They lay in their bunks, covered with purple shrouds, a $5 bill and a quarter in their pockets for intergalactic toll. Each wore identical black shirts, sweatpants, and new Nike Decade sneakers. Their final video messages, recorded before their deaths, spoke of their excitement for the journey, their unwavering belief in Do's teachings, and their anticipation of meeting their older members aboard the spacecraft. The discovery of the bodies shocked the world. It was a stark, horrifying reminder of the destructive power of cults and the lengths to which true belief, however misguided, can lead. The Heaven's Gate tragedy remains a chilling case study in the dynamics of isolation, manipulation, and the human desire for belonging and purpose, even if that purpose promises an escape from this world. The children of light, as they saw themselves, believed they were embarking on a cosmic journey. Instead, they found a tragic end, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and profound sorrow. Explore the shadowy origins of another infamous movement in our next deep dive.